So this story comes out of one of my favorite, and I think one of the most important uh, organizations, the Walter Rodney Foundation.
Yeah.
The Walter Rodney Foundation released a statement saying that they stand in solidarity with the movement to stop Cop City and Angela Davis's decision to return the proclamation, to take the proclamation from the Walter Rodney Foundation back to the city of Atlanta with her. So this means that Angela Davis is also, excuse me, in support of the effort to stop Cop City. And I know this is really hard for you all to read, so I'm going to drop it in the chat for you, the actual proclamation uh, from the Walter Rodney Foundation. They say they are in solidarity with Atlanta residents, the Atlanta University Center faculty, alumni, and students, organizers, educators, activists, and hundreds of local, national, and international stakeholders, including community movement builders and the Defund the Atlanta Forest Coalition, that are calling for an immediate cancellation of Cop City, the $90 million 85-acre project in the South River Forest. The objections by the Stop Cop City movement lie squarely at the intersection of racial, environmental, economic, and social justice. Promoted as an advancement of public safety, Cop City symbolizes continued police militarization and nationalization, and is believed to be one of the largest counterinsurgency and surveillance facilities in the United States. The Cop City model expands police militarization and prison mandates and perpetuates systemic oppression and violence against marginalized people. It is a continuation of the slave patrol legacy and context of the neo-colonial capitalist war against primarily Black oppressed communities. And I'm going to go on over to the second page where they say we stand in solidarity with Dr. Angela Davis's return of the proclamation presented to her by the Atlanta City Council during our 20th annual Walter Rodney Symposium, which takes place in proximity to Dr. Rodney's date of birth. It has been the tradition that a proclamation is sought to celebrate Walter Rodney Day. The practice now requires further contemplation. The intent of the Walter Rodney Foundation this year is seeking a declaration of Angela Y. Davis Day to similarly honor Dr. Davis as a scholar, activist, and her lifelong service and commitment to issues of economic, racial, gender, environmental, and social justice and prison abolition. The presentation of the proclamation by Council Member Jason Dozier was a surprise to Dr. Davis, during which there were persistent and supported audience chants to stop Cop City. When this proclamation for the Angela Davis Day was presented to her, a chant rose up organically among the people at the Walter Rodney Foundation to stop Cop City. Councilman Dozier's agreement with the protest calls does not overcome the contradiction that other members of the Atlanta City Council, signatories to the proclamation, voted in favor of the construction of this massive police facility. And yeah, so I'm going to drop this in the chat for you all. So there's a lot there. So Kalonji, what do you say? What say you about all this?
Man, listen. Now I'm gonna be unpopular in this. I'm gonna let y'all know at the gate. Give this is a trigger warning.
Uh-oh.
While I support what the Walter Rodney Foundation has done in support of um, the organizers of Cop City, right? Not the organizers of Cop City, the organizers who are looking to stop Cop City. Let me be clear about that. Um, I'm a little bit confused. My thing is, whoever heard of someone who was on the FBI's top 10 most wanted, accepting, and not only on the FBI's top 10 most wanted, but an open supporter of Joe Biden. You know what I'm saying? Accepting an award and being celebrated and honored by the government. itself, because this is what it is. You being honored by this government, the government that you were supposed to be fighting against. Um, and I think that while it's cool that your publicists and handlers told you it wouldn't be a good idea to move forward with this without speaking back on it, Angela Davis is 79 years old. She's been a part of this quote unquote liberation movement for quite some time. I couldn't see myself in good faith or good standing or morally accepting a proclamation from some folks when there's an active battle going on in this city. The world knows about this battle. It's not like it's a situation where something went on someone's block and they weren't clear about it. So to even accept it is problematic. And along with accepting this award, I look at the fact that her comrade, 84-year-old Ruchell Magee, who's been locked up for 60 years, we barely hear anything about Ruchell Magee when it comes to the situation. Why is it that some folks can go on tour and can be celebrated while others can be languishing in these gulags and pretty much be ignored? And I'm saying that because I know some folks don't know the history of this situation. The particular weapons that was used in the August 7th, 1970 Marin County situa- situation were registered to Angela Yvonne Davis.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Rochelle McGee is in prison right now
Right.
due to that. I'm not telling anyone how to speak. I'm not telling anyone how to organize. But for me, if my comrade is in prison for 60 years, in every discussion that you see me talking about, every time you see me in front of a camera, free Rochelle McGee is the order of the day.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So while we appreciate, because before folks get all emotional and sensational and say, well, this is an elder and this, it ain't got nothing to do about no elder. It don't
Right.
have anything to do with gender. It don't have anything to do with you being iconic. That's not the point. But if this was your family member who's been locked up for 60 years and he's 84 years old right now, I don't think that a proclamation or an award should be at the forefront of what we're talking about. That's just me. Perhaps I'm a little too quote unquote revolutionary.
No, that's yeah. I don't. No, I don't think that's unpopular. That's principled. That absolutely is principled. And interestingly, the very last, and I intentionally didn't read the last paragraph of this press release from the Walter Rodney Foundation. They say Walter Rodney stood, and this is directly from the press release, Walter Rodney stood against police violence, state oppression, exploitation, systemic racism, and racial capitalism. This is a teachable moment for the Walter
Mhm.
Rodney Foundation. We
Yes.
acknowledge the inherent contradictions of Angela Y. Davis receiving a proclamation signed by the same officials responsible for voting for the construction of Cop City, which is why they pressed her to return it at our annual symposium, which celebrates the life, works, legacy, and values of Dr. Walter Rodney. So your point, Kalonji, was not unpopular at all. It is something that even the Walter Rodney Foundation recognizes. And I do firmly believe that they were the ones who rose or raised the objection. Now,
Right.
I have no idea how Atlanta City Council members were even there.
Right.
Um, I
That's
guess
another
it's
part. But right.
it's an open event. They they didn't want to turn anyone away. I guess that's conjecture on my part.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
do believe that members of the foundation were very opposed to her accepting that proclamation and told her, no, we're not with this. You need to return it. I really do believe that is what happened. And I appreciate that they recognize the contradictions, the inherent contradictions in Angela Davis and her politics of late, which is something
Right.
we do have to contend with in these movement circles. Like,
Yes.
just because somebody is an elder, it
That's right.
doesn't mean that they cannot be subjected to principled and valid criticism. That
Right.
this is a line we have maintained, and we will not deviate from it, because we
Yeah.
can all be held accountable for our actions and words, right?
Yeah. Liberalism is one of the major tools and weapons used by our enemy. We aid our enemy by being liberal. We must understand that, you know. And I've had I saw one person online talking about, well, I didn't well, I don't think that if people weren't organized around Cop City, then they should have anything. Let me tell you something. I'm not organized around Cop City. I'm organizing against Cop State. We're in a
Mm-hmm.
police state. This is international aggression, imperialism, and colonialism. This is what comes with war. You understand what I'm saying? We don't take a stance talking about who was where and all of that type stuff. Some of us are dealing with this thing from a holistic perspective. You understand what I'm saying? We're not talking about when I get a headache, I'm just popping the Tylenol. We're trying to see what is the cause, what is the symptoms, and the symptoms and the cause. I mean, it's based off of imperialism. So the thing is, again, this isn't. It is a critique, and it doesn't matter who likes it or who don't. Tell me which part that I lie about. You understand
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? If you had your black ass in prison for 60 years, the last thing you want to hear about is oh, my comrade returned an award. So what? My comrade should never accepted that award. Okay? So we have to be clear, man. This is serious business. And to put it in context, think Angela Davis was probably around 19 years old when Rochelle was initially arrested, and I think probably around 26 or so when that whole Marin County situation took place. So to put it in context, 26 years old, and now she's 79 years old. That's how long this brother's been locked up.
Mm-hmm.
Tack on another 7 or so years. So and on top of that, we're talking about he had been denied parole, I believe, like 13 times. And I think his up until 2001, he hadn't even gotten a parole hearing for 40 years. Okay. So I got a problem with. So if you got a problem with what I'm saying, imagine how I feel. You understand what I'm saying? I think that we talk all this revolution shit, and part of my English, but we talk all this revolution crap, and we're out here um condoning certain things, and because of popularity. And let's keep it 100. Because of popularity, certain people are allowed to skate. You understand what I'm saying? Asada Shakur got an award. Her award was another $1 billion bounty tapped on her head. Went from
Mm-hmm.
two to 1 to 2. So we have to be clear. I mean, excuse me, $2 million bounty. So we got to be clear that this is what comes with war. So yeah, so we should be talking about Ruchell Magee just as much as we talk about Angela Davis. We should be talking about Mumia, who just who they denied his hearing a few days ago. We should be talking about Imam Jamil Al-Amin, formerly H. Rap Brown. But if we just run around here talking about hobnobbing and taking pictures with people who have inconsistent politics, then it's problematic. You know what I'm saying? So, let's keep it 100, y'all. Where we at?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I agree. And I do wonder, when you were talking about Brother McGee, and the parole hearings he's had that have been denied, has Angela Davis ever testified on his behalf? Or
Yeah, I don't, and again, I don't know that, you know what I'm saying, but I'm just basing it off a lot of what I have heard. You
right.
know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm listening. You know what I'm saying? I'm waiting. As Jared, Jared comes with with his petty saying who didn't shout out the platform. I'm saying who didn't shout out the PPs.
Come
You know what I'm
on,
saying?
come
So,
on.
that's me. I'm
Hmm.
clocking. I want to know, like, yo, what you got on this right here. But again, you don't go from being on the 10 most wanted fugitives to being celebrated by the state. Never in the history, unless you're looking at somebody like a Nelson Mandela, and we know the contradictions. You know what I'm saying? This don't what Malcolm say. This don't even happen in Hollywood. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? We're not looking at, we looking at, okay, the iconic stature, the nature of the individual. But let it been me. Let it been me trying to accept some damn award in the middle of this piece right there. They'd have quote unquote canceled me. You know what I'm saying? If it's someone that you don't like, then we don't, you know, we quick to bite them.
Hmm.
But it's someone that got the cool pass, then everything's all right. But I don't know how y'all get down, but I ain't going out like that.
Yeah, I can't see myself going out like that either if I know that I am directly connected, especially
Directly.
when I
Directly.
know I am directly connected to somebody still locked up behind the walls. I I don't see it. I don't see it.
Use your
And
guns, homie. And that ain't, and I'm not mad about it being that.
right,
You know what I'm saying? I
right.
unite with the revolutionary acts. I'm cool with that. Don't get it twisted. But I'm just saying, you know, what's good? Where we at right now? What you got on that? You know what I'm saying? And I know some folks out there, were you on the committee? No, I'm on the committee to free all political prisoners. I don't respect no invisible borders and boundaries. I don't care who like it or love it. Ain't nobody telling me how to fight. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody telling me who to fight for. You know what I mean? I am not handcuffed. I don't have no skin in this game. I'm not looking for any type of advancement. I'm not looking to be power adjacent. I'm not looking for a larger career or for my name to be recognized. You could skywrite my name, or it could be anonymous. I don't care.
Not looking to be a UCLA tenured professor.
Never, never. And still speaking, we matter of fact, we'll be shout out to Dr. Joy James. We'll be doing UCLA Riverside this week virtually.
Oh,
Speaking of
nice.
UCLA, you know what I mean?
Mm.
So yeah, we accept the concessions, but we don't compromise our position around here.
And speaking of Dr. Joy James and the series y'all are doing, that's dope. That's some y'all doing that thing. I have loved every. It's fantastic. Thank you for doing that.
Thank you, because and definitely shout out to it, because there's so many folks for years that would like to keep voices like ours buried, because we're going to come with the unpopularity. And you're speaking on Inquest, correct? Because you're speaking on the writing piece when you said the
No,
project, or you talking about Guerrilla Intellectual University.
no, the
So I guess we
video
don't know.
on. I know y'all doing so much stuff,
Right.
but yeah, but the Guerrilla Intellectual piece y'all do on Black Power Media.
Yes,
That's
yes,
beautiful.
yes,
Thank you.
yes. Yeah, that with Dr. Jared Ball and Dr. Janine Jones, who you all haven't seen on screen just yet. But we're also Dr. Joy James and I, we're working on a piece with Inquest, dealing with the
Oh.
incarceral the incarceral system as well, the carceral system. So, definitely that's a once a month thing that's coming out of Harvard, out of all places. But yeah,
Mm.
so yeah,
I
so
mean, look, what did Walter Rodney say? Intellectuals are our enemies
yes,
until they prove otherwise.
absolutely,
And the
absolutely.
only way intellectuals prove that they are not our enemies is that they have to be guerrilla intellectuals. They have to use that academia, their access to academia, and that knowledge in service of revolution for the masses, for the working class and the poor. That's what a guerrilla intellectual is. That came directly from Dr. Walter Rodney.
Right on, right on. S Barrows, yes, I agree with that. The victory here is that organizing forced a figure like Angela Davis to take action that will bring mainstream support to stop the Cop City. And that is what's important. It is the
Right.
organizers and organizations behind it. We can't just give any individual groups or individuals credit. It's the pressure of the people. And that's what we mean when we say power to the people. You know what I'm saying? It's not cliche. When we talk about black power, You know what I'm saying? When I think of Black Power media, it's not a slick soundbite. You understand what I'm saying? We're talking about Black Power. We're talking about self-determination. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about being anti-imperialist, you know, and that is what I mean when I say Black Power. And there's no softening up, there's no buttering it up. We might joke, we might laugh, we might have a ball, but that's why I'm here. Now, I can't speak for everyone else. That's not my job. You know what I'm saying? But I know what it means to me. But anyway, Jacquie got me over here getting earlier in the morning, starting it up. But
That's
I'm
my
ready.
job. That's my
Yeah.
job. I am Mrs. Mischief. I've got to
Yes,
live up to my name.
the damn show is.